Good evening. Welcome to the Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast. I am your host, Bruce Gunther. Joining me this evening from the booming metropolis of Saskatoon, Devon Davidson.
Welcome, Devon. What's happening, folks?
I'm just sitting here in my office. That's about it. That's about it. Watching my fantasy hockey team get tampa'd.
Tampa'd? What does that mean, Bruce?
Well, Tyler has like 3 Tampa players on his FHHL team, and they just the other night I forget what team they lit up, and it was like he has Point and Kucherov, and they're the only two that did anything. So they won like 7-2, and I got absolutely destroyed. So I'm like, oh, we can write that one off. So I made a trade.
There you go. Well, speaking of the FHHL, I've finally been playing in Yahoo long enough. I've reached gold status in both of my leagues.
Nice.
After a couple of big wins last week, and then I just got dummied in both. In the Experts League we play in with Blake and with Nate, and then the FHL League, I got crushed by Jordan Shiesty this week. So not ideal. But I will say this: I'm sad Tyler's not on, because I was up on him about 50 points in our ESPN League this week. He came back. He was up on me like 3 or 4 points a couple different times. And now I'm up 10 points over him right now, and it looks like I'll probably close that one out. So a little extra satisfaction there for myself.
I was leading earlier today. Let's see what this app is painfully slow.
ESPN?
Yeah. I'm up by 9, so I think I should be okay.
There you
I
go.
don't think my opposition has any Oilers or Ducks, so...
Well, I've got McDavid coming up here too at 8 o'clock against the Anaheim Ducks, so that should be interesting. I did pick up Alex Lyon, who we're going to talk about later in the waiver wire targets, because that guy's been absolutely killing it lately.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm going to have to drop Huso if Lyon keeps playing that way, because I picked up Huso thinking, oh, this is going to be great, and then I didn't realize that there was a 3-headed monster in Detroit, and then Lyon's playing really well, and Huso hasn't been playing, so I traded for the 2 Boston goalies, so...
You sure did. I got to say, Bruce, I mean, I get it, but I personally, I don't like the tandem. I don't like rostering a tandem. So walk me through that trade for us.
Well, because I had made the joke in our group chat that I needed a goalie worse than the Oilers for my FHHL team, because I'm having to pick up goalies left, right, and center because Kemper was either hurt or terrible. I can't remember who else I had. They were hurt, and I have Ottinger, but Ottinger wasn't getting, Wedgwood was getting starts over Ottinger. So it's like, well, I'm having to constantly scramble to get goalies so I can, because we have that 3 goalie minimum, right?
Mm-hmm. We sure do.
And then John puts in there, well, I'll trade you one. I got 2 Boston goalies. I'll trade you one of the Boston goalies. So I went and looked up the both goalies, and throughout the entire season, it's a 50-50 split. They just alternate.
Yep.
One over the other, one over the other. So I'm like, well, took a look at the schedule ahead. There'd be like 1 week, maybe 2 out of the next 2 months that I'd have to get a 3rd goalie. Otherwise, my goalie starts are covered. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I'll trade you Ottinger and Besser. I've been trying to get rid of for a while now, as I just not convinced that Besser's going to keep shooting at over a 20%.
He had 2 goals last night, I think, Bruce.
I know that didn't help. It helped me, but the tie was already too far gone. But yeah, no, Besser's stats I've had Besser before, and it just seems too good to be true. So
I know.
I figured if I offered a Ottinger, Bessinger, if I can get Ullmark and Swayman, I have 2 goaltenders. The week they only play 2 games, I get to pick up a 3rd for a couple of starts, and I don't have to worry about my goalie tandem unless one of the Boston goalies gets hurt. And that was kind of the logic behind it. It frees me up a bit of a roster spot so that I can do a little bit of player streaming, which I haven't been able to do up till now.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the thought process behind it. And the Boston Bruins are in 2nd place in the NHL, so I figured having both of them can't be that bad.
You could do worse. For me personally, I don't like owning tandems if I can avoid them. If you're going to own a tandem, I guess Boston's tandem is probably the best one to look at.
Yeah, because if it was anything other than a 50-50 split, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. So,
it's like, what was it? So when Fleury got traded to Minnesota, at that time when him and
Gustafsson.
Was it Talbot at that time?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
We're splitting 50-50. I had both of them then because they were literally going back and forth, and so I'm assuming Boston's not going to change here anything anytime soon. It's working for them, so
Yeah.
I'll roll with it. If they change it, I'll switch to something else. But
Well, you've got two perfectly good fantasy assets there. So if you had to move one of them, you always could.
yeah,
I think that works out just fine. For me personally, I do have Ottinger and Besser on the same team in our ESPN league, actually. So I would probably stick with that just because that's what I have myself, and I think Besser's been fantastic. I am really curious to see how long do the Vancouver Canucks maintain this level of play. Like it doesn't seem real, but
while we're talking about him here, I'm just going to bring up what is Besser's stats right now. So Brock Besser, he is shooting.
oh good lord,
Where
that's
is
going to
his
be
shooting
high.
percentage? Where is his shooting? Oh, here's click on.
The issue is if
He is shooting at a 23.8% right now is what he's shooting at, which is more than double his average.
Not quite double his career average,
not quite double, sorry,
but close.
but close. So at some point it's got to fall back at some point.
It's coming down. I think, Bruce, that's a good move based on where Besser's stats are at and the fact that, I mean, Ottinger and the Stars are going to be just a wagon the rest of this season. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Boston, man, it is insane. It's like we all said again this year, they're going to be terrible. And they just said, hold my beer. And here they go.
Maybe I'll be the curse.
You know what? Maybe, Bruce. Just maybe.
I started Lindgren on Saturday, or started Lindgren the other day, and they got shut out by the Oilers. So, I could be the curse everybody needs.
Well, hey,
Oh, no.
hat tip to the Oilers, who finally seemed to have busted out of their slump there with a 5-0 win over the Washington Capitals.
It's Washington. They're not nearly as good as what their record shows.
They're not. I think they're definitely overachieving, but the fact that the Oilers were able to come in there and just walk all over them. Because did you watch any of the game? I know it was like a 2:00 start.
Yeah, I caught some of the game. Yeah, and it was like, holy crap! It's like
the Oilers were dominant. They were all over the Washington Capitals.
Now, if they could just do that going forward, that would be nice. But like I said, I think Washington Lindgren's been playing really, really well. I think what most people, when you check the underlying stats, most of those wins came from Lindgren.
Yeah.
Kemper was either hurt or out. So the poor guy that picked up Kemper off of paid $11 for him in our FHL league. Good luck. I hope you have better luck with him than I did, because I didn't have any luck with that guy at all. So that's why he's there. So we'll see how that goes. But
I hear you. The test for me tonight is going to be, can the Edmonton Oilers pull out another win? Consecutive positive performances over the Anaheim Ducks tonight, and that'll be the start of something.
And this one's at home.
Yeah.
The Washington one was away, so this one's at home. So they're going to be playing in front of their fans. So can they play that way here against Anaheim? And I didn't see who the starting goalie was tonight. Is it Gibson or is it Dostal?
It's Dostal, and I'm disappointed because I've got Gibson on my ESPN roster. But Dostal's been good.
Because Dostal historically against the Oilers has been really good.
Well, actually, you know what? Both goaltenders for Anaheim are playing really well right now.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. We'll see. But hey, Bruce, we should probably jump into John's list. You and I've been yammering for almost 10 minutes here.
Oh no. but yes, let's get to John's list here. So if you're a regular listener of the podcast, you've undoubtedly familiar with John's list. This is John's shit list of players, past and present. We throw in the occasional commissioner, GM, coach, or newsworthy topic from around the hockey world. This week, you've got a couple here on the list. One is Jacob Trouba, who recently just auditioned for the Major League Baseball. And I did not see what Ryan Hartman did.
Yeah, it was a slew foot on Alex DeBrincat. And, I mean, I didn't see it live. I watched the replay. People have been commenting on it. Ryan Hartman, to me, is a player who can be a little greasy at times, so that's not totally surprising. I hate the play. I hate slew foots. Even just optically, if it looks like a slew foot, I hate it, right? It's a dangerous play, and so I have no problem putting Ryan Hartman on the list this week for a dirty play like that. And then Jacob Trouba, I mean, Bruce, you had said that it looked like he almost lost his balance on the reverse angle, right?
So when you look at the reverse angle, the who are they playing? I don't even know what they were playing.
I can't remember. I think it was Boston, wasn't it?
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
the boss says
it was Trent Frederick.
Frederick, right?
Yeah.
So Frederick had a hold of his arm and pushed Trouba backwards. So what Trouba did, as opposed to letting go of his stick, he just went over. He just swung around, and the stick came around and swatted Frederick in the head. Because when the first angle they show, you don't see Frederick's arm on Trouba pushing him backwards, but on the reverse angle you can see Frederick pushing on him. So, and Trouba, instead of letting go of his stick, he just hung on to it, and the follow through clocked him in the head. So that's probably why it was a $5,000 fine as opposed to a several game suspension. Is that Frederick basically pushed him, and that was the follow through on it. But if you look at that original angle, what everyone's seeing, like, dear God, that's a home run swing. Like, when you look at it from that angle, it's like, so I guess angles are everything, I guess, in that case. Most likely they looked at that second angle and saw that, hey, this is Frederick possibly had something to do with the way the stick came around. So
yeah, but you know what? Like, this is Jacob Trouba. We're not talking about Jordan Eberle here or another player.
Well, exactly. You know for a fact that if you're going to do that, Trouba's going to use everything in his knowledge book, right? So he knows what's going to happen. He knows he's going to bring that stick. The stick's going to come around. He's going to hit him somewhere, right? So
it doesn't.
He
matter.
wasn't letting go of the stick. He was just going to let her buck and take the $37 fine. That's age projected. Like, yikes.
Well, it doesn't, like, the thing is, in the NHL, it doesn't matter if it's a high stick or not. You're responsible for your stick. So if you make a guy bleed, if you knock out some teeth, you're getting 4 minutes. It doesn't matter what the reverse angle looks like. And this is just, again, another situation where the NHL is showing very little consistency in how they're disciplining their players. And this is a player, like I said, Jacob Trouba has a reputation for being a hard-nosed, hard-hitting player. He's going to take every opportunity he can to make life difficult for the opposition. So the fact that he kind of baseball swung a guy in the side of the head, I'm a little surprised he didn't even get a single game for this. But
there was no penalty on the play either.
Yeah.
Like, you look at it, 6 inches lower, Frederick's losing teeth, and lots of them. Like, that's like I don't know. Like you said, like, the reverse angle shows more probably why he got a fine as opposed to a suspension. But either way, like, you got to do more than that. Like, show him that he's got to be more responsible with his stick. Yeah, I got tied up with the guy, but still, it's...
Yeah. I'm not surprised. You know what, Bruce? I'm just going to accept it and move on with my life. And who do we got for Fantasy Lock of the Week?
Fantasy Lock of the Week, as much as he was the bane of my existence this week in fantasy, Mr. Nikita Kucherov. So Kucherov had 8 points this week, 2 goals and 6 assists in 3 games. We had 5 of those points. Oh my God, look at that. It's Tyler.
We've got a mustachioed guest with us this evening.
Sorry about that.
He's just in time for the ad read.
Hey, buddy.
See ya.
Well, do we want to get Tyler's?
Well, Tyler, do you have Kucherov on your roster?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he does. He annihilated me this week.
Oh, okay. Well, Tyler can rub it in then. Fantasy Lock of the Week, Nikita Kucherov, rostered by none other than Tyler Homan himself.
100% roster too.
So yes, 5 of those 8 points came on the power play. His average time on ice this week was 21-13. Average 426 on the power play. Tyler also has Braden Point, who had 6 points this week, which laid waste to my fantasy team. I was kind of hoping I'd get somewhere, but I was able to slightly keep up because I had Brandon Hagel, so I was able to sort of keep up, but not really. But that line was great this week. So, and for honorable mention, thought we should mention this name. He hasn't been in here for a while, Mr. Connor McDavid. 7 points last week, 2 goals and 5 assists in 3 games played.
I love it. Finally paying off a little bit. He looked like himself or closer to himself. What do you think, Tyler? 5-0 win against Washington. Did Connor look like himself even a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I missed that game because I was at work, but
okay. 2:00 start. I guess you would be.
Washington sucks.
That's what Bruce said. I'm really trying to give the Oilers credit here, but
nah.
No, Washington sucks. It's just how it is.
And Tyler, you missed it too. I was kind of rubbing some salt in the wound here, but I was up like 50 points on you in ESPN this week, and you came back, and I looked on Thursday night, and holy shit, you were up 3 points. What the hell happened? And now I'm up a couple to finish out the week, but my God.
Yeah, I'm okay with. I was gonna do some stuff, but I seen you freaking out and using up all of your
I sure
transactions for the week. So I figured I'll just leave it. I'll take the loss this week. And it was a weird week too, with lots of games, no games, lots of games. So
Yeah.
you can have this week. It's fine.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, you had Kucherov in point 2 in ESPN, don't you?
Yeah, and both of them.
Yeah. That's where
Big
that's
weeks.
where the holy crap came from. Because I was a few points ahead, and then all of a sudden Vasilevsky's first game back, and all of a sudden I'm like 25 points down. I'm like, what the hell? I go and look. Oh, look, point. Oh, look. Oh, it's Kucherov. Oh God. Okay, that's why I'm down now.
That got ugly real quick.
Yeah.
And I never recovered, so taking the L on that one too. All right. Let's move on to Edgework, NHL schedule for week 8. This is the segment where we put the work in to give you the edge in your fantasy hockey leagues. Each week, the Hacks will cover NHL schedule, waiver wire targets to guide you to victory. And with week 8 here, so week 8 goes back to a familiar format: 3 full days, 7 light days. Light days are being 50% or fewer NHL teams in action. There is a total of 53 games on the schedule for this week, with Tuesday having 10, Thursday 14, and Saturday 13 being the full days on the schedule. The remaining light days of the week feature 6 or fewer games. So optimizing for games played will present a bit of a challenge this week. In terms of attempting to optimize your schedule, there's a total of 12 teams this week that do provide an advantage with 4 games played. Those teams are Boston, Buffalo, Chicago, Colorado, Columbus, Florida, Nashville, the Rangers, the Sharks, Tampa Bay, Vegas, and Washington. Also, of those teams, Boston, Buffalo, Columbus, Colorado, the Rangers, and San Jose play 2 of their 4 games on off nights. And this week, if you have to fade a couple of teams, those teams would be Edmonton and LA, as they only play 2 games this week. So we'll just do a quick recap here. Monday is 6 games on tap. Tuesday's got 10. Wednesday's got 4. Thursday's 14. Friday is 2. Saturday is 13. And Sunday has 5. In our show notes here, we've got a complete list of the teams that play 3 games, 2 games, and 4 games. So if you want to go back and check those in the show notes, they're there. And then we will move on to waiver wire targets for week 8. Our waiver wire targets are focused on players that are rostered usually 50% or less in Yahoo or Fantrax leagues. When considering players to target, we consider recent performance player deployment and upcoming schedule, and a bit more. So we will start off with forwards tonight. And Devon, you want to start us off?
Why not? Let's talk about Eli Tolvanen, who is left wing, right wing eligible for the Seattle Kraken. 46% rostered in Yahoo, 58% rostered in Fantrax. 3 games on the docket for the Kraken this week against Chicago, Toronto, and Ottawa. He's playing on line 3 with Yanni Gourde and Oliver Bjorkstrand, who in his own right is worth rostering. Tolvanen is getting some time on the top power play unit. He's got 15 points and 5 goals in 22 games this season. He's off to the best offensive start of his career. At 205 games played, he is right on track for that 200-game breakout threshold that we talk about all the time. Currently on pace for 56 points. In Banger League formats, he has some added value where he's offering 2 hits per game and also offering up almost 1.5 blocks per game. Lots to like about Eli Tolvanen right now while he's producing. Definitely a player I would want to consider. And 2 of those games, too, Chicago and Ottawa, I think are both games where you could put up some points. So give him a look.
Most definitely. That's a nice pickup from Nashville. And you got him off waivers to boot.
Nothing wrong with that one.
Change of scenery has done him well.
For sure.
Tyler, did you want to do the next one? You're sort of familiar with the next player on the list.
Yeah, not really, but Jordan Eberle, roster 31% in Yahoo. 3 games this week, just like Tolvanen, Chicago, Toronto, Ottawa, playing on the first line with Beniers and McCann, and the second power play. 8 points in his last 7 games, including 2 goals. Deployment and production all look great. Underlying numbers suggest he should have some more production coming up here too.
Yeah, he bounced back
Nice,
really
and
well after that, like getting cut, right? That laceration. I think,
Yeah.
was it Schwartz that cut him, I think, in practice or something.
Yep.
But despite that, he's looked really good. So I know all of us we're fans of Jordan Eberle. He's one of my favorite players, former Oilers anyway. So hopefully he continues producing.
Most definitely. Next on our list is Charlie Coyle. He's center right wing eligible. Boston, he is registered rostered 27% in Yahoo, 53% in Fantrax. They got 4 games here coming up: at Columbus, home to San Jose, and then at Toronto, and then at Columbus. He is on centering line 2 with James Van Riemsdyk and Trent Frederick. The Bruins have been full of surprises this year, as they are every year. Charlie Coyle has been potentially one of the biggest ones. 2 goals against the Rangers on Saturday. Coyle has 12 points and 8 goals in his past 10 games played. At 19 points, 9 goals in 20 games, the 31-year-old is playing at a career best 82 game pace of 78 points and 37 goals. Holy crap!
He's crushing.
Really?
He's crushing it. He's absolutely crushing it right now.
Wow!
I picked him up last night.
He's got the Brock Besser-ish 21 or 23.1%. Very nice. IPP 86.4, a little high. Our certificate red flags, but don't pass up on the current production, particularly with 4 games in week 8. I had no idea this one. I didn't see this one coming at all.
He's absolutely.
Yeah, Devon didn't either until yesterday.
You know what? I was waiting for it to just continue for a little while longer before I grabbed him, but I kind of got tired of a couple guys on my roster. One of which being Patrick Laine, who's been absolute trash this season. But Coyle looks good, and they've got 4 games this week. So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer in week 8, given that they got 2 matchups against Columbus, 1 against San Jose, and then 1 tough matchup against Toronto. But he's cruising, man. Like he's never had a season like this, and if this year's taught me anything, I guess it's maybe not to doubt the Boston Bruins. So
yeah, no kidding, right? It's like him and Zaka have both look good, and they really don't look out of place.
Well, this is just one of those situations where maybe a player just needs some opportunity, right? Like Coyle's been on lots of deep rosters where he gets buried on the second and third or fourth lines, and maybe if there's no other options, he looks pretty good.
Yeah, no kidding. They're doing great. They're second. They lost the first overall spot to the Rangers yesterday by losing to them. Yesterday by losing to them. But still, that's they're doing great, and most of us didn't expect that.
No.
Devon, you want to do the new one? Next one, even though you're taking a drink while I asked you?
Yeah, for sure. I've had a few drinks tonight. I got my parents here. My birthday's next Sunday, so we're kind of a little early celebration here. But Zach Benson, this one is a little bit more of a speculative ad, and he definitely doesn't
just because he got that goal.
Yeah, and he doesn't play for Arizona. He plays for Buffalo,
nice
just FYI. But he's looked good. You know what? And just 3% rostered in Yahoo, 43% in Fantrax. 4 games on the schedule this week. He's on that second line with Dylan Cousins and JJ Peterka, as well as power play 2. He's looked pretty good all season, considering he's an 18-year-old rookie. 5 points, 11 games, and he was just recently informed that he is going to be staying up with the big club for the foreseeable future. He reached his 9-game minimum, and I don't know. Maybe like the shot volume and the overall deployment is still a concern for me. But if you're in a keeper or dynasty format, like this guy's must own, and in deeper formats, he's probably must own still too because he's getting that fantastic deployment. So.
I picked up his line mate, Mr. Peterka, there a couple of weeks ago, and originally it was just a stream, and it's like, well, he's been producing all the way through now with Thompson being out. He's one of the guys that's kind of stepped up, and I can't really find a reason to drop him right now. So
no, and he was one of our breakout candidates, Bruce, this year was JJ.
Yes,
Peterka.
he was. He's definitely doing it. It's good.
I'm going to look it up and figure out what our projection was for him, but I'm very curious to see if he's got 16 points in 21 games. He's fantastic so far this year.
I know. Been good. While Devon's doing that, Tyler really wants to read the next one.
I don't want to sound like John, but I really don't like this guy. Tyler Seguin, rostered 46% in Yahoo. 3 games this week: Winnipeg, Calgary, Tampa, playing on the second line with Duchesne and Marchment. Got 14 points, 6 goals in 19 games this season, 60-point pace. Best season in 5 years. He's probably due, you would think. That's probably what's going on here. I think he could probably actually have like 60, 70 points and then just never do it again. So,
But hey,
but right now it looks good.
yeah. This is another player, Tyler, I picked up in our ESPN league. He's been great. Like I really do. I think he does continue it this year. I'd be really surprised if he doesn't.
Yeah, I think this year, I think he'll be one of those players that kind of has a good season after having a whole bunch of bad ones and then just kind of goes back to what he was.
I don't like his shot volume. Like, this is a guy who used to shoot between 3.5 to 4 shots on goal per game, and now he's down around 2.5. Not ideal, but he's still putting up the points, so go with it while he puts up the points.
Yeah, most definitely.
Bruce, sorry, quick question or a quick little tidbit here. So Peterka, our preseason projection for him was 19 goals and 47 points. He is currently on pace for 62. So definitely exceeding expectations right now for JJ Peterka.
I'll definitely take that. Now, my favorite part of the waiver wire as the defenseman, because my ESPN team is littered with bad ones. So let's see what we got on the slate this time. So our first defenseman on the list is Mr. Ryan McDonough. He is rostered a whopping 1% in Yahoo and 9% in Fantrax. 4 games this week versus Pittsburgh, Minnesota, the Rangers, and then they're on the road at Buffalo. He's on the first pair with Mr. Roman Josi. McDonough missed nearly 3 weeks of action before returning on Wednesday night against the Flames. In 2 games since his return, he has posted 3 assists, 1 power play point, a +3 rating, 1 hit, 4 blocks, while averaging 20 minutes a night on the top pairing. Currently averaging 2.42 blocks per game, makes him a bit more appealing in multi-category formats, and the 4th game this week is just icing on the cake. I really need a defenseman in my ESPN league. And nobody in that league wants to trade. Nobody does.
You know what, Bruce? He's already got 2 shots in this game against Winnipeg tonight. So,
I may have to add him.
Take a look. I like him playing with Roman Josi on that top pairing.
No, that's nice. Well, that's a big boost for Nashville too, because they've had a little trouble lately with defense.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll definitely help him out. Tyler looked like he really wanted to say something there for a second and then decided not to.
Well, I was just going to say I got a couple defensemen, but
I'm really happy with my defenseman in the ESPN league right now. I picked up Philip Roenick. That has been one of the best ads of the year for sure.
You got him about 2 minutes before I was going to pick him up.
That makes me so happy, Tyler. I can't even tell you.
I knew it would.
I was a few days behind on that one, so
yeah,
literally days behind on that one.
Roenick is absolutely crushing it this year. Love it.
Oh, his partner's pretty good too.
He sure is. Okay. I got a bone to pick. Apparently, Drager and somebody else said on a broadcast that they would take Quinn Hughes over Cale Makar.
Yeah, I heard that too. It's insane, is what it is.
That's nuts.
They're within a couple of points. Like if you watch that game between Vancouver and Colorado, look at what Makar did in overtime. But even before that, like he could rush end to end, and he had a couple chances where he just missed the net with a shot. But then he was like the first guy back.
Yeah,
he just does that all the time. Quinn Hughes isn't going to do that.
No, Makar's phenomenal.
And just the size difference, even if they were equal, the size difference in itself makes a huge difference, especially in a defenseman.
Well, how big is Makar? Is he that big?
He's not that big, but Quinn Hughes is not that big either.
No.
So
Tyler, he's like our size. Let's be honest. Yeah,
I know he's just a little guy.
Just a little guy. Yeah,
but it makes a big difference, especially being a defenseman.
Yeah, we're talking 5'11", 187 versus Hughes at. Oh shit! I'll figure it out here. Give me a minute.
When you watch him play, though, the length of Makar as opposed to Hughes makes a big difference when defending.
Actually, Tyler, it's not that big a difference. It's so 5'10", 180 is what Quinn Hughes is listed at.
But when you watch him play, though.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Plus, I mean, an inch and 7 pounds, that makes a big difference for sure. So,
an inch is a lot.
An inch is a lot. We don't mess around with that. Okay, Bruce, better move on.
All right. We better move on. All right. Who wants to talk about the next guy?
I'll talk
Who
about
likes
him.
Russians?
I like
All right.
Provorov. You know, but I mean, maybe I don't like him for some reasons. But anyway, you know what? 22% rostered in Yahoo, 58% in Fantrax. 3 games this week, and he's playing on the top pairing with not Cam York. He's playing on the second pairing, I believe. But anyway, we gotta check these notes.
That was last year.
Yeah, who's fact checking these things? Anyway, we've pumped his tires a little bit on this show, and at 26 years old, he's on pace for 51 points, and he's posted 4 points and 1 goal in his last 5 games. He's averaging 23.5 minutes time on ice, 1 hit per game, and over 2 blocks per game. He is a serviceable multi-category option who is not rostered in enough leagues in Yahoo. Go pick him up.
He's Yahoo'd. He's rostered in both the leagues I'm in, which sucks because I need a defenseman.
Let's talk first. Let's talk after the show. I got some D-man for you.
Do you?
Depending on the league, I got some D-man for you.
Only cost me an arm and a leg.
Maybe a kidney too.
$50.
$50.
$50, yeah, and $50.
Yeah. Tyler, you want to talk about the next one?
Jacob Slavin, roster 59%, 3 games this week. Philadelphia, New York, Buffalo. Also not playing with Cam York, but he is playing with Brent Burns. 4 points in his last 5 games. On pace for 47 points to date this season. Over the past 2 games, he's received the most power play time he's seen all season at 48.5% power play share. With sustained power play deployment, Slavin could be a viable option. It's a depth option, really.
Yeah.
That would be the highest point total like that he's on pace for, I think, ever. Correct?
It may be Tyler, but the thing for me, like, yeah, if he's almost on pace for 50 points and now he's getting power play time, that's a player you got to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the D'Angelo experiment sure has not gone well for Carolina this year. What's that?
Or the Orlov one.
What the hell happened to Orlov, man? That is insane. He
just decided to stop.
He got paid.
It's been bad.
He got paid and said, "That's cool, thanks."
Yeah.
Oh, yikes. All right. That does it for a defenseman. Let's move on to goaltending. Tyler, you like the first guy on the list here for the goaltenders. You can talk. How about talking about him?
Yeah, not this year. Elvis Merzlikins, rostered 27%. I drafted him super late, and I dropped him. I think I picked him up 2 or 3 times since then. I dropped him every other time. 4 games: San Jose, Colorado, Seattle, San Jose. I think given the fact that they've got 2 San Jose games, it's definitely probably worth looking at. Things haven't gone quite the way Columbus had hoped this season, obviously. He's been decent during November, 3-4-1 record, 310 goals against, 910 save percentage. Playing 4 games this week, definitely worth a look. Columbus has been bad, but I mean, just for both of those San Jose games, definitely worth picking up. I don't know about Colorado or Seattle.
You know, Seattle, you don't know what you're going to get necessarily. That's how it feels to me this year. So I think that's probably a winnable game too. But yeah, 2 games against San Jose this week, and he's given you basically league average goaltending. So, I mean, if you're looking for somebody as a stopgap, I think Merzlikins is a great option.
Or if your league records goalie starts and you need goalie starts,
yep,
good one to get. He might not get you too many points, but he'll get you the start, so at least you can. Or you can go what Tyler does: no goalies. That's a bold strategy.
I'm going to be honest with you. I actually haven't even opened that league up. When you said that I was beating you, I was like, oh, I should probably check that.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
I took a look. It's like no goalies. Well, I guess he don't have to worry about losing his goalie games because he doesn't have any anyways.
Yeah, Tyler did the Ron Burgundy thing. I don't believe you. So he went and checked the league stats. He wasn't sure.
Right.
Oh, man. All right. Our next goaltender on the list is Alex Nedeljkovic. He is rostered 15% from the Pittsburgh Penguins. In 4 starts for the Penguins this season, Nedeljkovic has posted a 2-2 record with 2.26 goals against average and a .937 save percentage. Holy crap. Pittsburgh has some favorable matchups against Nashville and Philadelphia this week, so watch for Ned when he gets the call. That would be Yeah, and they did a nice little number on Toronto here last night too. That was very nice to watch. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
That made me happy.
Me too, because Marner and Matthews did not look good, and I have both of those guys, and they did not look good at all.
You were just witnessing regression at its finest, Bruce, is all that was.
So now I got to panic trade my Leafs?
No, don't do that. Just calm down. Just take a breath. It's okay. Don't worry.
We'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be okay. Speaking of calming down, Tyler, we were talking about Shoresy on Crave.
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch it, man. You haven't seen it yet? I just finished season 2. Phenomenal. It's hilarious.
The amount of people that say I look like him now with my
Yes.
current dental work, I should probably check it out.
So just go watch the show, man. It's hilarious. You're gonna love it.
I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
I was laughing out loud at times. It was hilarious. So good.
That is awesome. Tyler. Devon, you want to talk about the last guy since you picked him up and we kind of chatted about him off air a bit?
Yeah, for sure. Alex Lyon is absolutely killing it right now. 5% rostered in Yahoo, 9% in Fantrax. 3 games on the docket for this upcoming week. Huso hasn't been great. James Reimer, does that guy still play in the league? I'm not sure. But Lyon has started 3 of the last 4 games for the Detroit Red Wings. He's got a 1.35 goals against, a 935 save percentage, and 1 shutout. Small sample size, obviously, but Detroit is a team that appears to be on the rise, and Lyon's going to get at least a couple of starts this week, and he's got matchups against Chicago and Montreal potentially. So grab that guy. I picked him up against Tyler to close out that win this week, and that played out just fine for me. So go grab Alex Lyon.
Now, how many people wish they would have started Connor Ingram last night? Arizona shut out Vegas.
Who expected that one, Bruce?
It's like you look at it, it's like, no, I want to add him, but it's got to be the right game. And it's like, nah, that's going to be ugly, right? And then you look at the 2-0 shutout, then you go look at the points. 25 points is what he put up in our FHHL league.
To quote one of my
25 points.
To quote one of my lifelong friends, you got to risk it to get the biscuit. And
I know.
When you are playing in DFS, Connor Ingram is exactly against Vegas is exactly the kind of player you need to win that $10,000 or $15,000 payout, because no one's betting on Connor Ingram against the Vegas Golden Knights.
No one was picking Arizona against the Golden Knights.
Yeah,
so that was something. So that is it for the goalies on the list. Do we have any other notables? I don't see anything here.
I got nothing else for you other than this. I'm going to go spread some holiday cheer and drink some eggnog and rum. That's it. That's all I got.
Well, there you go. Tyler?
Nah, I'm going to go watch the game.
There you go. Oh, that's right. We're 15 minutes in already.
Let's go Oilers.
All right, folks, that's it for this week. You can find us on Twitter, or X as it's called now, at FHH Hacks, Instagram at Fantasy Hockey Hacks. Don't forget to check out our live show, Hacks Hangouts, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Mountain Time on Edmonton Sports Talk, and on YouTube at youtube.com/heavyhockey. Everyone have a good evening.
See you guys.
Take care.